We sing the tale of Mar alone. Yo ho, me lads, set sail to brave the curses sevenfold beyond the misty veil. Yo ho ho, beware what lurks below. Yo ho ho, below the shore we go. A mark of black upon our hands. Yo ho, me lads, take heed. We're bound together, salt to sand. With every drop we bleed. Yo ho ho, we'll find what lurks below. Singing yo ho ho, below the shore we go.
Hello and welcome back to Below the Shoreline, episode 4. This is a Chance Encounters Dungeons and Dragons mini campaign, and after this episode, we will actually be halfway through with this thing. So if you haven't watched the first episodes, surely don't know what you're doing here, go back, check out episode 1. But I'll reintroduce my cast, starting off with Sam Rutledge.
Hello.
We've got John Webb.
Hello.
And our usual Chance Encounters homies, we got Asteria.
Hello.
And we got Ian Frost, the king himself. So, hopping back into the recap. Last time, we caught up with our heroes after a brutal fight as they discovered that Sammy Seanwise, a famous bard, had tried to trespass into the Great Reef of Guardios. The Ashokmar elves were rightfully furious, but after a speech from Qell with the support of Guardios themselves, it was understood by all that the broader evil of the curses is the most pressing matter at the moment. Sammy Seanwise was jailed at the Stowaway, where our heroes later went and interrogated her based on her alluding to possibly having information that could help them. She described what she had seen occur at the door on the back beach, and some of the party were able to piece together that whoever's orchestrating this likely made a pact with a god, but what god remains a mystery because the individual demonstrated necrotic or cursed powers. And all of you know that even dark gods don't ever grant powers that allow you to drain the vitality from someone else, like what happened to the Ashokmar elf Ampados. Along with revealing herself to be a absolutely garbage person, Sammy outlined the ways in which gods' existences are dictated by how much worship they receive and the art and culture surrounding them. And most importantly, their name. She shared a theory she had heard that if a god's name had been lost along with the believers and most pieces of art related to them, then they would most likely become a felled god, a god who could no longer interact with the mortal plane. She hypothesized that the sea sunstones depicting 6 Triton men were in fact relics of a much older god who had been felled, and asked our heroes if she could be taken to see them. They soundly ignored her request, but went to investigate themselves, especially upon hearing that the cursed oil-like substance found around the island had been found there. Lowering themselves into the tidepools' cursed realm, they fought and investigated their way through 4 levels of ocean floor, with Bene finding a message in a bottle and Marius finding a ring of mysterious keys. Finally, they faced the shadow of the sea sun, who revealed himself to have more forms than just the Triton figure depicted in these stones, and who Calanthe was able to learn goes by the name of Oceanus. Defeating the shadow and freeing the tidepools of the 3rd curse, they ascended back to the real world, where we find them now, with Bene having the message in the bottle in his hand. Also, forgot to mention that all of you leveled up, and that's where we find ourselves. So, Bene, when you found this bottle, you rolled a nat 20 on the investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you some extra bits and bobs here in terms of information.
Cool.
Because you gotta respect that nat 20.
Gotcha.
So I imagine that you have the message in the bottle in your hand. Do you uncork it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sting's voice just emanates out from it. Message in a bottle.
Yeah. This paper is old. It's so old, it might not even be considered paper. It hardly looks like paper. It's dense, and you wonder really how someone could even fit this into a bottle. but you touch it, you feel the quality of the material, and you smell it. You don't know why you know this, but deep down in your gut, you know that this material was made from resources on this island.
Oh.
You examine the bottle as well, and you're surprised this thing is even still together. The glass is cloudy, there's a bit of brine of salt on the outside and a few minor cracks. But the glass itself, the bottle, it looks foreign, with a surface of intricately looping spirals, which you've seen on a traveler's just cloaks and accessories and items, but a traveler from another nation.
Hmm.
Do you unroll the parchment and look at it?
Yeah, I want to read
Okay,
it.
awesome. On the parchment, you see written, do you speak primordial? I know Calanthe does.
I don't.
Okay.
I speak literally all the other things except that.
Gotcha, no worries. You look down at, I think you can probably discern it's primordial, but even you are able to, even not speaking the language, realize that it kind of even reads like an older version of primordial. Like, you know how Middle English has like extra letters and shit? It's like that. Do you want to hand it over to Calanthe to read off to the group?
Yeah, I look at Calanthe, I'm like, I feel like you know what this says.
Calanthe reads it. I think it's a little crinkly, like this character sheet I just spilled water on. That's why what I'm writing down. I'm copying over my character sheet.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but
And it's just water. It's fine.
Okay.
And reads it and takes a look at it and is like,
you
what
read
does it say?
You read on the paper, we have always lived with the water around us. We have no need to see the land on the other side. Oceanus has always provided all we need is the Father of all, the Father of many forms with one face who lifted us into the world and out of the waves. All he asks in return is our prayers and hearts given over to the God of all water that runs with salt. This island is for us, and we are for this island. We've been blessed to know one of the oldest of all. We are Marians. There's little on the other land that we could want. The ocean delivers all. And then there's a little bit of a space, and then you just see, we have seen shapes on the water. The page ends abruptly there. All the edges of this document are a little worn and torn, but across the bottom, it looks like someone tore the sheet of paper in two.
Intrigue. Yeah, so
Intrigue, mystery.
she'll dictate that as she's reading it.
Gotcha.
Just be like, whoa.
And then do any of you want to take a look at the sea sunstones that surround you as you are kind of getting out of this tidal pool?
Yeah.
You notice that the Calanthe knows the full name now, but the letters still have only added the third letter, which is the E. So it's O-C-E now. And that's where you guys find yourselves.
I think Qell was doing a little victory dance. Like he was super stoked on that battle and how well it went. Nobody even came close to going down, and like we defeated the enemy in a swift, cool fashion. So he's like, I don't know how to describe kind of what he was doing, but as soon as this started getting read and the farther down the information, he sort of stops and looks back and he furrows his lack of brows again. Are we to believe that there was a whole culture of people here that we have never heard of? No records, no history. How can this be?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm looking up what's in my toolkits to see, because there's something I want to try.
Oh, gotcha. No worries. But you guys get out of the tide pools. You're kind of standing around, drying yourselves off and getting ready to walk back to the tourism district.
So this is going to be really hard because it's on stone. But I would like to take my ink and quill that I have for from my navigator's toolkit and see what happens, if anything happens, if I fill in the rest of the letters on the stones.
Huh. I don't think that anything happens.
Okay.
There is this is still being enacted as a part of a ritual. And the ritual was already put into motion before you learned the name. So kind of the rewriting of that into the world is still coming into place.
Right.
This god was far gone beyond the veil, like very, very detached from the human world. And it'll take a great force to bring him back more than just recalling his name at this point. But
shrimp resting.
Do you guys want to head back to the tourism district to kind of cool off after that fight?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, what time is it?
It's probably, you guys went there honestly pretty early, and about an hour to 2 hours passes every time you go into these things. So it's probably past noon. That's probably like getting closer to 1. As you're making your way through the farmland back to the tourism district, you pass by the Chapel of the Mother's Arms, where Preacher Blue Blonde heads the ministry. Despite him being missing, however, you hear the singing of sea shanty. Each of you have heard this song sung at one time or another, but never in a church. The congregation is singing, "We give thanks to the mother of many, we give thanks to the mother of all. We give thanks to the mother of many, 'cause she makes the grain grow tall. We give thanks to the mother of many, we give thanks to the mother of none. We give thanks for life and any drink for when the day is done." There's a massive laugh and applause as the congregation of mostly visitors with a few island residents sparsed in there are led out of the chapel by a young preacher that none of you have ever seen before. He's saying goodbye to people and extending warm wishes to an absolutely beaming congregation. They just had a ton of fun. But then he sees the 4 of you and rushes over. And he's a Leonin, so he has lionish features, but his mane is groomed back respectfully, and he wears a simple preacher's robe, which looks really, really, really good on him. He's
Sexy priest.
hunky for sure. And as he approaches, he says, "Hey, howdy, hi. You 4 wouldn't possibly be the ones tasked with preventing the end of the world, would you?"
I guess that's us.
Oh, great to meet you. My name is Derringer Fellis. Your mayor was poking around looking for any preachers on the island who could hold a little service today, and I offered myself up since your preacher's a bit indisposed, so I hear. I just wanted to stop you guys when I saw you to let you know that if you need any assistance with anything and I can be of use, let me know. Even if it's just a talk, I will see it as my personal duty. And he looks over at Marius and he's like, "Oh, is that a Lucin symbol on your robes right there, or your outfit?"
Oh, yes, actually.
Wonderful. We'd love to meet a fellow believer, even if it's an, a moderately different god. He holds his hand out to shake your hand.
Oh, shakes his hand. I guess so. But you say believer?
Well, I mean, if you're wearing a Lucin symbol, that means that you're affiliated with that church, right? So I just assumed that you believed. Yeah.
Yes. What is this church of exactly?
Oh, I mean, this is Terramatrian. Like, obviously, yeah. So I honestly have a congregation back on the mainland. I just came here to visit. I was taking a little bit of a weekend sabbatical, if you catch my drift.
Right.
But obviously I'm here now, so I thought might as well share the good news. Yeah. So it's, love Terramatria.
Well,
He's blessed us with a lot.
Yes, it's all well and good, I guess. Thank you for offering your services. We'll be sure to reach out to you if we need anything. I'm sure of it.
Yes, and I mean, disclaimer, I know it might be a little blasphemous to sing a sea shanty in a church, but just figured, why not let down our hair a little bit? And you are Qell, is that correct?
Yeah, yes, actually, that would be correct. And
Yes.
he kind of takes a break from like doing cat jam from the shanty, and he goes, "I personally take no offense to expressions of physical joy in your worship. My people do this all the time. It is a daily, perhaps even hourly occurrence below. But I must wonder, sir, of all the people here, I imagine you have a detailed knowledge of the history of the gods and religion in this region.
I've got a fair knowledge, but yeah, shoot. What can I try to answer for you?
Well, if I was to ask you, what was the first, the records of this area, who was the first god that people worshipped? Who were the first people to congregate here?
Well, I've heard of worship of light and darkness a long time ago. Fire and water, but no specific names of gods that have carried over into our present time.
But just people worship the elements, or
Yeah, the things they're surrounded by. Day and night, pray that sun will come up, pray the sun will go down, pray that the water that surrounds them is bountiful. But, there are so many gods that represent so many different parts of our environment and society and culture, it can be kind of hard to trace them back. But I would say probably more of an elemental sphere of gods is the oldest.
And from what records do we know this information? Where did they record their knowledge?
This is mostly from books I've read in Teramatrian seminary. I think if you were to go over to the port of Schwan, which I know is not the most optimal time right now, you might be able to locate some stuff in a library. Actually, wait. And he looks back over the church. I'm sure your priest has at least a small library of preacher. I'm sure your preacher has a small library of written tomes. Let me go take a look through a few, and I will bring them to you. I'll track you guys down and find you. You're not that hard to find.
No, I think not.
we're around.
Most definitely. That sounds great to me. And Calanthe, right?
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Just wanted to introduce myself. And Bene, is that correct?
Yes, Father, that is me.
My man just froze.
He laughs and goes, Yasli told me a lot about you. You seem like a lot of fun. And he shakes your hand, but he does the thing where he covers the side of your hand with his hand.
He says that I'm a lot of fun. And Benny, I just go, I bet you're a lot of fun.
I've been told. But I'll leave you guys to it. Have a great day. And he kind of holds on to Benny's hand for a little second longer and then walks away.
Wait, no, I mean, dick measuring contest.
I think that's more of a dick wanting contest.
What is the name of Marius's god again? How do you spell it?
Lucen, I think. Is that right, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Lucen.
Lucen. Okay.
And it's named after the Lucent Sea, which is what surrounds where we are currently. It's the god of that specific sea.
Cool.
You got it.
So I clap Marius on the shoulder a little bit, and I go, when the good father returns with the books, I think we shall have a proper job for our young Marius here. Do you think?
I guess so. I enjoy searching through books. It's something that I don't mind doing if nobody else is interested.
What? This is potentially going to sound more condescending than I mean it to be, but
I can take it. Don't worry.
What is a young man like yourself doing? Just being a reporter. I mean, we three, and she gestures to herself, Qell and Bene, all have experience and a lifetime of, well, more years than you of training to sort of reach our sort of skill level. And this is not coming from a place of jealousy or envy. It's just very impressive that Lucian would imbue you with so much power so young.
Well, it's a kind of a loaded question, I guess. But no, yeah, to a certain extent, I understand what you mean. Sometimes I can be a bit overwhelmed by the things that I'm allowed to do. But you could say that a lifetime of humility from, well, my pappy at least, we're on his good side, to say the least. So you could say I just kind of born into it, but I was also not born into it at all. I was just kind of thrown onto his doorstep. So be it fate or luck or whatever it may be, I guess luck would be probably the most apt descriptive of what I have. I've got a lot of luck.
And is this life, this predicament that we're in, the sort of adventuring sort of aesthetic, is
Right.
this what you were looking for? Or were you sort of, was the powers sort of secondary to the vocation of reporting? Do they go hand in hand? Were you expecting to be sort of this, in this much danger at this age, I guess? I don't know.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Like I said, it's an awful lot of happenstance that has put me in the position that I'm in. But, I don't hate it.
I mean, you certainly are good at it.
I appreciate it. It kind of gets red in the cheeks.
I was nowhere near as, at least magically, powerful as you are at this age.
Oh. Well, like I said, he kind of gets real quiet.
Well, the fact of the matter is that it is so often the old who have the power to affect the world, and yet we often forget that it is the young who must live in it. I am personally refreshed to see such capabilities in one so young as yourself.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me that you're all so complimentary.
Well, when I was chosen by Guardios to do the duty that I have been bestowed, I was considered largely by many of my people to be already too old. I don't know why I brought this up, but I think you will do fine.
I sure hope so.
How old are you?
That is a good question.
I would be... He's sort of like doing the math really quick. Actually, I'm doing the math. He doesn't take that long. He knows how old he is. So let's see. He would have been
Maybe he's
chosen
converting to
pretty young.
Drylander calendar.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he'd be in his like late 20s, 30 tops.
Oh.
Somewhere in the like 28 to 30.
So I guess, okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So you guys are making your way back to the tourism district. I'm trying to think of what order this should all go down in, but let's start here. So as do you guys have plans for what you're doing as you make your way back to the main part of town?
I would like to go somewhere more private, probably just back down to the coast, or would it be faster at this point to go back to the house, to Bene's house, or something to that effect than it would be to go back to the coastline?
Yeah, from where you are, it would be closer to. I believe it'd be closer to Benny's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll turn to Benny and I'll say, would you mind if I returned to your home? There is something I must do that I believe has a chance of enlightening us somewhat, and then I shall return presently to you.
Ben's like, yeah, dude, of course. Like, make yourself at home.
Calanthe's hands go to either hilt on either side of her belt, and she starts white knuckling a little bit.
Oh, okay. Benny and Marius, what about you guys? Is there anything you're thinking about? Marius, I have an idea for you, but if you have something you want to, yeah.
I imagine Marius is at least a little bit concerned about shoe buckle, even though he'd rather not be. So probably as they're going around there, he's probably asking around about shoe buckle here and there, just to people around the marketplace.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you eventually bump into a guard at the stowaway who's now off duty, and you get into talking with them, and they say that was weird because when he came in that day, it was like someone had just taken him out of his cell. Like he was just gone. There wasn't a sign of a struggle or anything. He had just vanished.
Do you think it might maybe another god would have let him out? Would they have any reason to?
It could be a god. It could also be a person. I'm really unsure, but a few people who have keys to the stowaway. I believe it comes down to like the guards themselves. Each of us have a pair of keys. Preacher Blue Bond, I believe, has a pair of keys so that he can come visit. The mayor,
he's also missing.
He is also missing, yes. Who else would have keys? I believe some of the business owners also have keys so that they can bring food in to him. It's a pretty sweet deal, honestly. I would live there if I could.
It sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah. But I think that is about all the people who have those keys.
Do you know which business owners?
I believe Alicia Windlorn would have one, and then also the gentleman who runs the half-flown flag, who I believe goes by Todd the Terrible.
Todd the Terrible.
He's a pretty nice guy, actually.
Oh no, Todd.
Just Todd. But I also recall from last session that Marius had a dream. Would you perhaps want to go to the stowaway and see Sammy herself?
He would definitely need to come up with an excuse first.
I mean, you went to the Sea Stones without her. Could be an apology.
True. That's true.
Not to feed you a reason to go there.
No, he would take that opportunity. Absolutely, okay. He would.
Yeah.
So, he'll head on over there, and also along the way probably stop at to talk to Alicia and talk to Todd the Terrible.
Alicia has hers. Todd says that he thinks he lost his, but he's not sure when.
You wouldn't know?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't do it that often. Sometimes I'll borrow Alicia's keys. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. I'm running a pub here.
Right. Okay, well, thank you.
I mean, if you want to look for them, we can look for them. I'm not doing a lot else besides serving drinks right now.
Do you know where we could even start? I mean,
He just looks around his bar. Anywhere.
I'll look around the bar.
Roll me an investigation check.
It honestly doesn't seem like that big of a deal that this man has lost his keys, and so many people have the keys to this place.
Yeah.
I would usually
20.
look on Spotify when I'm looking for Alicia keys.
You got a 20? You got a 20?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
Nice.
You find it. It's like
Great.
It's honestly, you find another pair of keys, and they're very close to those pair of keys.
Well,
Oh,
here
I
you
would have
go.
never
I
thought
guess.
to look there.
Yeah.
Thank you. You have a drink on me.
It's like
yeah,
holding
do
up a
it.
table. It's like holding up a table when it's like lopsided. It's like holding up a table.
Yeah. Go ahead. Take this for the road. He hands you a bottled ale.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you for doing me this service.
Anytime. If you need anything, just let me or any of my friends know.
Oh, we're here.
Got it. Oh, I don't know if you are here.
No, I don't think
Okay,
you
so
are,
the
but-
three of you.
Okay,
Okay.
just making sure.
I'll definitely do that. Thank you, kind sir. So I think we're gonna do a little bit of weave in this narrative really quick. We'll come back to the Sammy scene. Benny, is there anything you want to do? I have something planned.
Yeah. Benny will probably just like kind of speak to himself and kind of just kind of go walk around the island. Like he kind of hasn't really been able to like just enjoy the island
to
in a while.
vibe.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, this is like so much work that he's been doing that like really isn't his choice. So he's like, I'm gonna take time to myself.
I think that you're heading out of the kind of tourism area, and Yasley catches up to you and says, "Hey, are you going for a walk right now?"
Yeah, you wanna come with?
I would love to. I need a little bit of a break from mayoral duties.
Yeah, like isn't it crazy? You're just like the mayor now.
It's crazy. It's pretty crazy. But you see, this is a woman who's been to war. She kind of thrives under crisis. She's carrying herself a little bit taller. This is not ill-fitting to her.
Right.
As much as she may be a little bit non-complimentary of herself, she's doing a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
As you're walking along, she goes, "Hey, so I actually wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to think of ways to keep our guests entertained over the next few days as you guys continue to clear out these curses. I know that has to be first and foremost the priority that happens on this island. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, can you think of any ways that I could entertain them, things to do? I mean, that's what you do on the boat, kind of.
I know, and you know, this honestly kills me to say, but I miss being on the fucking boat. It was a simpler time, you know.
Have I died and gone to heaven hearing that Bene Anjaro wants to be on the boat?
I do, honestly. You know, it's just like people are getting kidnapped, and you know, it's just a lot of pressure, you know. But you know, I think what we could do, why don't we still have a lot of like celebration stuff. Why don't we just throw another party and just have like the people who are still on the island, like, you know, contribute. And then it's like everyone's like coming together rather than everyone like being scared and shit. Like we can all just like we outnumber whatever thing there is going on. So we all can just come together, you know?
No, that is a great idea, and I can't believe that I didn't think of it. But yeah, we do have the festival did just kind of come to a halt, so we do have all these supplies left over. Yeah,
It's
I'll
like,
start.
Why be like afraid, you know? Like let's just have a good time, you know? Like
Yeah, there's only so much fear can do for you.
yeah, it's like fuck it, you know? Like it will happen. We'll figure out how to save the island, but you know, it does no one any good if the people who visited here are just terrified. And what better way to show that even in the face of danger, we're still gonna be you know, Marlowe, you know?
Yeah.
Why stop? Why stop now?
Oh, Benny, you're a really, really, really good person. And I hope that you know that.
Think you're
Um,
actually a very good mayor. Like honestly, like we're gonna save the mayor, but
but I mean, I'm not. I mean,
I mean,
I could
I don't
maybe
want
be
to
the
say
next
I don't want to
mayor.
say it, but yeah, I don't want to say it, but I feel like you should just like maybe stay the mayor.
We'll
I'm
we'll see. This is definitely something different that I'm not entirely not enjoying, despite the horrible circumstances. But how do you feel about Jarrell and Calamine?
uh
You miss? I mean, just like, do you miss them? Because I
yeah,
miss them.
of course. Like I know that no matter what, they'll be okay. Like we'll get them back. I'm not too. I know Terrell can put up a good fight. He taught me everything I know, so I'm
So
sure no matter where he is, he's protecting everyone. You know,
Jarrell
I have
has, yeah. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
have faith. I have faith in all of them.
Jarrell has done some unimaginable things.
Absolutely.
I'm a little worried, but I do agree with you that it will be okay.
Yeah. It's like why think otherwise?
Yeah. You guys continue on your walk. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with Yasli?
Uh um mm, I tell her that I will start prepping, getting everything together. And if she could just like inform some of the other like local businesses and stuff to just kind of start preparations for getting everything set up to get like for maybe in like I don't know 3 to 4 days like we can just have the another like celebration or
As
something.
kind of a celebration for us not dying. I think that is a wonderful idea.
Yeah,
I'll get that set up and I'll have the business owners reach out to you. And
yeah,
I
that sounds
think
great.
that you guys continue on the walk and just kind of enjoy your time together. Maybe Pierre and
Yeah.
Crest join you at some point. They see you walking along the beach and come and join you. And you guys,
Yeah, we're
the
just
crew
kind
of,
of we're all
yeah,
vibing.
yeah, the crew of the Golden Hour is just vibing together, taking a
Yeah,
moment to decompress.
we're all like you ever like have you ever like worked somewhere and then like you like leave that job and then you have to go back to it like kind of like if you work
Yeah.
in like retail it's like these were some good times here and then you're like peace I'm out but yeah that's kind of how they are they're all kind of just like reminiscing about their simpler times.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. We're gonna hop over to Calanthe really quick. Where are you at right now?
I think she'll see everyone sort of splitting off.
Mhm.
She'll try to keep her mind off of what Qell's about to do because she knows that she wants to know, but she shouldn't know because it'll stress her out. And she'll see Marius go off, and he's like, "Okay, off to do his little investigative reporting job." Oh, so cute. And then like she'll watch Bene go off with Yasli, and I think she'll just go home.
Mhm.
And since there's no tours, Kyleson is probably at home because she wants
Yes.
to show him that flag, baby,
Oh
and put
yeah.
and find a place to put it up.
Hell yes. Okay. You come back in. He's doing something and he puts it away really quickly. He kind of like shoves it in his pocket, and he has his hands in his pockets. He's like, hey, how's it going? I'm forgetting this voice. Hey, how's it going, Captain?
I like the idea that he was so surprised his voice did jump octaves. He was like, "Hey!" Ooh. Calanthe will just raise an eyebrow and be like, "What do you have there?"
Look, okay.
A surprise.
You're used to him. You're used to him standing like with Chadney right by his side. He looks a little like lonely and sheepish, this big hulking guy all by himself with his hands in his pockets, but he says, it seems like things have been like pretty tough lately, and I know that we both miss Chadney a lot. I really miss him. but I know you're really doing a lot of hard stuff right now. So I wanted to, well, we got you a gift for your birthday, and it's early, but here. And he hands you this very hastily wrapped brown paper package. It's very small, it like fits in the palm of your hand.
Open it.
You open the package, and inside you see a black eye patch like yours, but on the front, embroidered in gold, it says #1 Captain.
Oh my
and
god.
It really looks like they did it themselves. And in terms of gameplay, this is a Knave's eye patch, which gives you advantage on wisdom perception checks. And there's a sunlight sensitivity thing, which I don't think will matter. And you're immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts or determine whether you are lying. Creatures can communicate telepathically with you only if you allow it.
Okay, wait, hold up.
For sure, that's the Knave's eye patch.
That's dope.
It's sick, right? Yeah. I was just like, are there any eye patch items? When this showed up, and I was like, hell yeah, take that.
So, okay, you said advantage on perception?
Advantage on all perception checks that rely on sight.
Okay.
There's also a sunlight sensitivity thing, but I don't think that matters for you. You're immune to magic that allows other creatures to read your thoughts or determine whether you're lying. Creatures can only communicate with you telepathically if you allow it.
No thoughts.
No thoughts.
Head empty.
And you kind of, I hope you like it.
Calanthe immediately rips off her normal eye patch and puts it on and gives him a big old hug and says, thank you, and kisses him on the cheek, and then steps away from him and pulls out from her pack, I got you something too.
Whoa. Do you hold it up?
Mm-hmm. And he would know what it is.
Yeah. Whoa, where did you find that? I thought that ship sunk.
We got it in the goo, in one of the places we went. In the goo. Yeah. I was not even sure it would come with us, but it's here and we have to find a place to put it.
Yeah. We could get it framed. That would be pretty cool.
Or we could sort of clean up the edges and then hang it as a tapestry or like a curtain in a doorway.
Oh yeah,
Either one.
That would be cool. That would be so cool. Very modern vibes.
Yeah. I think just as a placeholder, they put it they tack it to the wall of the, because it's like one of those hallway stairs situations. So there's walls on either side. So they tack it to the wall at the stairs.
I love that. Okay.
So they pass it every time they go up and down the stairs.
Cute. So now, well, sorry, do you have anything else you want to say to, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, so you're doing that spell, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to the house, go into the room, and I'm going to reach into one of the pouches on my belt and pull out this little, it's a good material that would be underwater, that wouldn't be affected by it. Probably leather or something, maybe.
I don't know.
Because not like, I was going to say like a satin pouch, but like.
Maybe it's like kombu seaweed.
Yeah.
Really tough seaweed.
But it's like a little drawstring pouch. He opens it up and he starts pouring out sea salt all around him in a circle, in like a wide circle big enough for him to sit in. And then once it's finished, he's going to summon one of the swords, and then he's going to take the little like kind of mounds on like 4 sides of it, and he'll draw up into points in 4 places, like north, south, east, west. It looks like a compass.
Nice.
And then he'll sit in the middle of it, rest his hands on his knees, and he'll reach out to Guardios and say, I will not press you for information. I felt what you said, you but not you, and I felt your fear. Know that I am here for you. And I need you to be here for me now as well.
I didn't say you, but not you. I don't know what you're referring to.
There was something below in the place where I have been. It looked like your body, sounded like your voice, but not. And when I reached out, they spoke to me. I am Guardios, but not.
Can Guardios see into your memories since you have such a specific connection with them?
Up to you. I think it's possible. It definitely sounds like something that would be, because it is a telepathic link.
Mm-hmm. They say that you can feel them kind of rifling through your memories, and say, "This is not me. This is. I believe what you are seeing in these places is distortions of reality, yet also distortions of history and distortions of time."
Of time.
Distortions of the upper world. The dry walker.
How is this
Dry
possible?
walker. Well, the force that surrounds us at this moment is beyond my comprehension. I will gladly admit, or not gladly, I will humbly admit that I am powerful and wise and can see many things that the Ashakmar and any race cannot, but this is beyond me.
We ask you for so much. You provide us so much. I will not ask you to stretch beyond, but I thank you for this. I need to ask you to guide my vision. Allow me to see things beyond. And he begins to, how should he do this?
Mm-hmm.
He lays his sword in his lap, and then he'll just run his hands over it, kind of feeling the vibration of the water around it, and it's kind of steaming around it. And then he'll pick up the sword and then hold it up to his face like a mirror.
Mm.
And when he opens his eyes have like a watery sheen over them. And he looks into that central tide pool in the hook part of it like a mirror, and he's going to cast scrying.
That's so sick. That's the sickest thing I've ever heard in my life. So I'm
going to
casting,
specifically cast scrying on the mayor because I know the mayor best.
What does it describe scrying as allowing you to see?
So here's the rub. Mm-hmm. If the person I'm looking for is on another plane of existence, it straight won't work. And Qell is half expecting that to be the case. But I have to try it on the off chance.
Yeah.
So the description is, you can see and hear a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you. The target must make a wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well you know the target and the sort of physical connection you have to it, which is why I chose the mayor. So because I know the mayor well, the table says that you would have a -5. So whatever you rolled, you would subtract 5 to it.
They are on another plane of existence. I'm gonna roll and just see what. That was a net 20. I want to give you a little something. I'm just trying to think of what it could be. For the briefest of seconds, you can't really. It's like it's there for a second and it's gone. But you see 7 people on a table, or 7 tables, surrounding a central point where someone is sitting in the middle. And then it's gone. You can't make out any of their faces or anything like that.
7 people laying on a table?
Laying on beds, quote unquote beds, but more like stone slabs surrounding one person. and it looks as if they are on top of water.
And then I'm like torn out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the particular feeling of being pushed out.
Interesting. Because if I hadn't been able to see anything, Qell would know that it was another plane of existence.
Yeah.
Or that it failed or something.
Well, we can't just nix
Okay.
all of that and say it's another plane of existence. Maybe that's better as a storytelling mechanic.
No, it's totally fine. I like that that's interesting that he saw something, but I'm trying to think of what Qell would think because of that. Because now he's like, well, I saw something, so maybe it is this plane of existence. Oh shit. But that feeling of being ejected out is like, okay, I'm not supposed to have seen that. Like I wasn't supposed to be there.
I will say, okay, this is what I'm going to say. The plane that they are on is innately connected to this one. It is the only plane that it's connected to, but it is technically another plane. It isn't a plane. It is an extra dimensional space.
He'll stand up. Say, thank you. I feel that you pushed farther than I expected. This is most helpful.
I feel that perhaps the only thing I can do to aid you at this moment, but I hope that was helpful. They take a moment and they say, your brother is looking for you at the dock. And then we will hop over to Marius. So Marius, you head over to the stowaway. That look on your face is making me happy. I think the guard who you meet in all those things were happening simultaneously. The guard who you interview at the market is like, oh, my shift is starting. If you're heading over there, I can just take you over there and we'll go.
Oh, sure. Yeah, fine. All right.
Perfect. Okay, let's head over. So you guys go over to the stowaway, enter, and Sammy is asleep.
Just have one quick question.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just point of order. I don't know how old anyone. I've forgotten. How old is Sammy scene-wise?
She's in her early 20s. She might be like 20.
Okay.
Yeah. She's snoring pretty loudly. The guard goes up and kind of raps on the metal bars, and she sits up out of this very well put together bed and says, oh, hi. What time is it?
Hey, what time is it actually?
Yeah, it's like 2 p.m.
It's 2 p.m. He says without even like hesitating, because he has a keen mind.
Yeah, he knows all of the times. I'm just imagining Marius with like a wall's worth of wristwatches that are attuned to every part of the world.
For each time zone.
But she goes, you guys probably went to the Sea Stones without me, huh?
That's why I came by, is to let you know that yes, we did that without you. And I'm not necessarily sorry, but I just figured I'd let you know, just so that you weren't wondering.
Yeah, I kind of figured you guys would. Your friends didn't seem to like me too much, and I only kind of understand why.
Kind of?
I understand maybe 50% of the way.
What is impeding you from the other 50%?
Probably not wanting to understand it.
That makes sense.
Honest.
That would make the most sense.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for the company. I mean, these guards are actually pretty nice, but it's nice to see a friendly face.
Of course. I also have questions about the individual who inhabited the cell that you're in now. Is an old friend of mine, Shoebuckle.
Mm-hmm.
On the night when everyone disappeared, did you happen to see him? Did you happen to notice a raggedy old sailor.
Was he, yeah, like a big old piratey guy?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing?
That's him.
Like, okay, I was like really fucked up, but I'm pretty sure it was someone I hadn't seen around the island. I'd just seen him that one time, and I think he was being lowered into the door.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you know by what? By who?
No,
Where?
like I said, like those guys that I saw, whoever they were, I couldn't see really any definitive markings on them.
Okay. Well, I guess that gives us a general answer. Would you have any idea what they would want with him?
I mean, I read that poem that was on the door.
Right.
Let me roll for her.
Where do
that's
we
not
have
good.
the poems? It's in the chat, right?
It's in the chat. I can send it again. She got a 15 on that. What was the question you asked? Why they would be in there, or what they would be doing in there?
What use they would have of this man?
I mean, it's vitality, right? It's like
Right.
a whole person to rip the life out of, like what happened to that Ashok Mar guy.
Right.
I think they're doing kind of like that down there. I mean, he's just a dirty old pirate in a jail.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But what about you? Like, tell me about yourself. I see the Lucian pendant on you, so I'm thinking maybe you grew up in a temple. Is that correct?
I actually, yes. Good observation skills, I guess. Deductive reasoning.
I'm great at observation skills.
Okay.
So do you like that god? Do you like worshiping them?
They're all right.
Mhm.
They
A glowing endorsement.
well, I mean, it's not like I got to pick which temple I was dropped off at as a baby.
That's fair.
So, you know, if I'm being honest, they feel more like an uncle than a patron deity. But
She
know.
laughs and she like covers her mouth a little bit. That's really funny. I don't think I've ever heard a god described like that, but that's one to keep in the noggin. What kind of temple was it? Like, what did it look like? I love temple architecture.
It was actually a lighthouse.
Oh, wow. That's eclectic. Very, 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 very interesting.
Eclectic is the word. Eclectic is the word. My pappy, Rhubarb, he's a turtle.
Oh.
And he is the purveyor of that temple. He's the one who raised me. So, you know.
Yeah.
But
can I ask, what are you and your friends doing? Because you seem pretty roughed up yesterday. It's
pretty hard to describe, if I'm being honest. We're doing our best to try and save everyone's lives. So, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get back to doing that.
Oh, yes,
I guess.
Be free, be merry. I think if I were to offer my 2 cents, I think you should probably go check up on that lighthouse on the hill. If there's someone in there, they might be like trapped.
Do you think there might be somebody in there?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a lighthouse keeper in a lighthouse, right? There's got to be someone up there.
I guess so. I'll be sure to check in, make sure everybody's okay.
Well, it was a pleasure. Feel free to come back if you get bored. But
Right.
hot talk for now.
Okay, and then he leaves.
Oh, that's good. So yeah, you guys are Qell, are you making your way to the dock now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you hear that your brother's there, you might want to head over. You get there, you see a Qell Carrington kind of like kneeling down at the edge of the docks, talking to your brother, who's just kind of swimming at the edge. And once he hears you, he goes, "Brother,
Fanti, my boy, what brings you to the surface this day?
well, I just am kind of like scared. Because Guardios is going to be moved around the island. We're going closer to the sea caves below that like magic cave on the hill. We're going to be outside the cave for a while, but if the fog gets too close, we might have to go in. And I don't like the dark very much. But everyone is scared and moving around a lot. And there's this thing that looks like it's reaching through the fog, and I don't know what to do about it, but it looks like it's trying to get in. Can I help you? I want to do something. I can help you with whatever you're doing.
I'm gonna reach down because is he down in the water, like pulled like up talking?
Yeah, he's still in the water. Yeah.
So I'm gonna reach down and I'm scoop him up under his armpits, pick him up, put him down on the dock, and I'm gonna kneel down to him. Fear is only natural and nothing to be afraid of. But what lies beyond that mist, I will not lie to you, I do not understand yet. And for all I have taught you, I think that you must know that your brother is not thinking in terms of strategy, and deep planning is not my area. I leave that for others with their maps and things. But I do know this. I have seen that the dead do not sleep here.
What?
And this is not something to fear. This is something to give you fire.
Oh.
We fight for them to return, to be at peace. And thus we all may be at peace and find it balanced when it is our time. Let this guide you, this determination. You are already there. You want to help. What job can I give to you?
I'll do anything.
Would you do me the favor of checking in on our friend Amados? He is under watch, but I think that he needs the warmth of a friend. And you know how he cares for you.
I can do that. I love him. I'll go right now. But at that moment, you hear off to the side, Fanti, you cannot keep running away like that. You must stay within the boundaries of Guardios. We don't know what it might be out there. And your sister, Shayna, appears out of the water. She is looking like she's at her wits' end. She goes, "Oh, hello, brother. Sorry that our youngest sibling keeps slipping away from me. How is the event going? I hear that you have perhaps stumbled into an adventure."
Yes, quite. There is much I have seen that I do not understand, and perhaps we can share information. Fanti, do you not have a job to do?
I'll go right now. And then Shanna goes, "Don't go too fast. I will catch up to you." So he swims off.
If you do not, then that will show he is improving, no?
Oh, yeah, it will, but it sounds like what you're facing right now is much more expansive than the Kraken you fought. Please, Qell, take care of yourself and all of us, and please protect the shock.
I am trying. I've felt something ancient that I do not understand. I am sure with your position, the council has already told you what I have told them, the statue that I have seen, but Guardios has shed some light, as much as they can, anyway. I have seen in a world beneath a strange duplication of Guardios. Spoke to me, said, I am Guardios, but not. And Guardios has told me that this must be some distortion of time, of this world, and I have no idea what this means, or how, why this could be. But there are others that I work with now who have skills beyond what I would have come to expect, and I find myself growing to perhaps not rely on them, but I think that they are the key to helping us to solve this. And I have felt my connection to Guardios grow. I cannot explain it, but when they helped me pierce through this veil to see into a world I had no business seeing, I felt a surge, like something, like a door within has opened, and the connection that I have to these strange drylanders that I have found myself with, it has opened the door to a new power that I had not considered. Abilities that I am eager to test. And he smiles, and the sharp teeth are kind of scary, but she would know that it's like a joyful expression.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And I think she gets out of the water, which is something you don't see her do super often. She stands up and she hugs you really tight.
Ooh, Qell is confused by that.
You and your friends are the only ones who can put all of this to rest and let the souls sleep. Do so. Now I must go attend to our brother.
As she starts to pull out of the hug a little bit, I'll sort of put my hands up. I'll sort of thumb behind her ears and run my fingers through her longer tentacle things than mine. And I'll tell her, the Drylanders do have strange customs, that is to be sure. And while the Ashakmar are largely one family and defined and raised by those who have chosen a similar path to our own, I have learned the value of blood. And no matter what happens, the paths that you and I have taken that diverge, you are still my sister, Jenna.
And you are still my brother.
I will fight for you. Now take care of our people. I will join you soon.
I will do just that. And she dives into the water, swims away. It's getting close to Din. It's almost dinner time. Do you guys want to assemble back at the house? I think you guys have all done a lot of different research and things.
When she swims away, I'll linger for a second on the edge of that dock and just sort of feel where she hugged and be like,
what?
Because she doesn't do that. This is very strange. And I think that the smile will slowly sort of creep back onto his face halfway, and then he'll turn around and he'll start hopping toward wherever he thinks he's going to find the group.
Gotcha. So do you guys all just assemble back at Benny's eventually? Does that sound good? Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
I think as you're walking, Benny with Yasli, at one point she kind of points up at the lighthouse and says, I think it might be best if you all went and checked on that next. Whenever you can.
He says that, and Benny's like, is there something wrong with the lighthouse?
I mean, there's no light coming out of it. There's fog all around. And you see near the lantern room and when the glass that surrounds it, there's that black sludge.
Mm.
No one has
Okay.
seen a vast scuttle in days.
Mm.
He's the lighthouse keeper.
Right.
Kenku guy, very chill.
Okay.
Little bit of a hermit.
Right.
But yeah, she points that out to you.
Okay. It's always a man and a lighthouse.
It's always a man in a lighthouse.
Sometimes it's Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's on Defoe.
And
Yeah.
sometimes there's a city.
Yeah. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
So we just did like 6 different references. But you guys all assemble back at Benny's. Maybe some margaritas are getting going.
Calanthe is already there cooking for everyone, and she's singing
Benny
a familiar tune to a sea shanty that is not the one that we heard in this session, but a different one.
Ooh.
Benny sees Calanthe like cooking, and he's just like, "Oh, what?" Like, let's get some food. He's like, "This looks delicious."
Oh, and it is. It's I think Calanthe sort of marked Qell's love for cod or whitefish in general, and so there's some of that. There's like a little bit of steak, potato, just yeah.
Benny's like, "Is this what y'all have been eating on y'all's tours? I should have been taking y'all's tours."
I keep telling you to come aboard, but you never do it.
I always worried that you just would just put me to work.
I mean, we would do that. That is 100% true. But you would be rewarded with food.
Well, I will take you up on that next time. And he just starts eating. And Benny goes, y'all, Yasli told me that there's something going on with the lighthouse, and apparently the light isn't working. So we should definitely go and check on that.
Sammy mentioned something about that as well, actually. She said that we might want to check in on them.
Okay, yeah, something must be going on.
I have gained some insight as well. I'm not sure if this is the time. This seems a moment of celebration.
I mean, Qell, let that freak flag fly. What's up?
Well, he'll look at Calanthe first just to make sure, and he's gonna try to look reassuring, but it probably looks a little bit like, you know, so like, I used my connection to Marius to cast a spell of scrying to see if I could find the mayor and perhaps the others who are taken.
Oh.
And I came across a familiar barrier that one expects to find when the subject is in a realm beyond this plane. However, Marius was able to pierce through that veil that should not be pierced for but a moment, a fraction. And what I saw was 7 figures. I could not make them out, but they were lying around a table with a figure there in the center, and it was as much as I could see before I was ripped from it. And the impression that I got was that they seize another plane, but Guardios was able to pierce through because whatever this plane is, it is tethered, connected to ours in a meaningful way. It is the only explanation I can find so far. I'm sorry that I could not see more.
No, I think that's like great to know that like at least we know something now.
And
we know they're not. We know they're not gone.
Right, and we know that they're not on this plane. So that rules out any place on the island. But we have been experiencing some interplanar hijinks, you could say, throughout these curses.
Right.
Calanthe will start taking everyone's plates and loudly, as if trying to like hype herself up, start humming the sea shanty even faster, like
It's all gonna be fine. I swear it's gonna be fine.
yo ho ho,
And
do not have a panic attack.
Paul starts cat jamming again, and he goes, I know this melody. It is fit for a warrior's dance. And he gets up and he goes, join me, companions, please. I will teach you.
Calanthe will, being like, oh shit, it worked, and dash upstairs and come back with a fiddle and start,
Oh shit, it's going off.
just shredding the song on the fiddle.
Dang.
Qell begins to
it.
try leading you guys through this dance that is, it's like the midpoint between a haka and a ribbon dance.
Okay.
So there's like a lot of like stomping and like, you know, and like a lot of like these big kind of shaking hand movements. But then every so often there will be this like Tai Chi like transition to the next move. And he'll often like trace water, like ribbons of water around him, like you've seen him do before.
Whoa.
And
can't
he's
do
trying
that.
to lead you through it.
Yeah. Benny's like, I can't do like the water bit. I can't do it. I can't do it.
But the expression, like he's like baring his teeth, he's making like these loud sounds. He's like sticking his tongue out, widening his eyes as much as he can.
Marius gets some blue ribbon and ties it around his palm and keeps it clutched in, so whenever you do the water bit, he kind of does it with a little bit of blue ribbon.
So good.
Calanthe's just stomping, and you can tell this is like one of the things that gets her in the zone. She's like, you know, she's
Right.
in it.
Benny just sees all of these people in his house and he's very happy. Like things are lively.
It's a party.
Yeah.
It is a party.
Love it.
So you guys rest up, enjoy each other's company. You're really coming together after being forced together, but this feels like a crew now. You guys have really found this friendship in this immense drama.
Yes.
Is there anything that Marius and Bene want to do before the night's over?
Marius pretty tuckered out.
Yeah, it's been a long day. You guys have done a lot.
I don't think there's anything Benny can really do. Maybe Benny like sharpens his sword, just kind of like maintenance and thinking about Terrell and like things like that. Kind of like this like weird self-meditation of like, I don't know, mentally preparing himself.
Absolutely, yeah.
He feels a bit happy knowing that there's a chance that like everyone is alive still. Like they're not just gone, So.
Yeah, definitely. You take this moment of repose, align yourself, take care of your sword that has gone through a lot of combat in the past few days.
Yeah,
So
definitely need to maintenance.
tend to it and kind of settle in for the night. There's been a conversation that Qell and Calanthe have been meaning to have for like since episode 1. Do you want to take this time to do that? Or
Yeah,
do you want that to
you-
happen later?
At this point,
Especially, well, we're not gonna go tonight, right? Because we haven't had a
No,
long
God, no.
rest
Yeah,
yet.
you're gonna
Right.
go in the morning. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I need those spell slots back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I only have 3. That's one more than I had last session, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I
warlocks
think
are crazy.
I will say I forgot about this, but
Mhm.
she by this point she would have told everyone verbatim the conversation that she had during the fight, since no one understood what
Gotcha.
they said,
Yeah.
and sort of just fill everyone in on that. But yeah, so she will go over to the room that's supposed to be hers and knock on the door.
I
Knock, knock,
think
knock.
instead of opening it, he goes, enter.
Calanthe will, and you see the hair is out, the eye patch is off, the shirt is buttoned up but not buttoned, almost as if she was gonna go to bed but then decided against it, and didn't bother to do anything, so now she's here.
Yeah, I think Quell's he's got the straps off and the belt, but he's just in his flowy pants.
His flowy pants.
And he'll turn and he'll see that it's you and he'll be like, oh, hello.
Are you on the waterbed?
No, I mean, I think he stood up when you came in. So he was probably just like sitting on the ground.
Okay.
He's just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
His salt circle is probably still there. So
Mhm.
you might be just like sitting in
Mhm.
there. And then when you get he just like stands up and really straight and looks at you.
Calanthe will plop down on the waterbed, chillax like this, and
Full teacher pose in effect.
yes, and will say, please don't ever try to appeal to me by imitating me ever again. Because it, for the most part, has not been your personality I've found so grating. It's just your actions. You didn't have to. I could tell that the alcohol wasn't for you.
No, it was not. And I do apologize for offending you. It was not my attempt to mimic. I do love the culture, the various cultures of the Drylanders. I find them fascinating, even the parts I do not understand. Sometimes mimicry is the closest I can come to honoring you or trying to understand your ways. I do not wish to walk amongst you an outsider interfering in your affairs. But it was not my intention to harm you. I must admit, in the spirit of the candor that I owe to you, I find the more I get to know you, the less I understand.
Well, you see, I have layers. I'm a very complex person, and it sort of proved to me that you only had sort of a surface level assumption. But isn't that why we're here, to sort of get to know and understand the way each other think?
I believe so, yes. And to that end, I believe I have been in error. And something of, forgive me, I do not know the word, to say one thing that I am against and yet do it myself. I advocate so strongly for the understanding, the sharing of the cultures of the Ashakmar and Drylanders, and yet these assumptions of you that I have before now were not positive. I saw in you a person who fought when she did not need to, when it did not matter. And then the night of the ship, I saw someone with great power to protect, to fight evil, who would run when that power was needed. And this disturbed me greatly. But I know now I cannot have simply expected you to understand why I felt I must remain, why I continue to fight. There is much that I wish to share with all of you, everyone here on this island and beyond, about our ways. But you must understand that those ways, they color everything that I do, everything that I am trying to accomplish. And in so much as I am trying to understand you, I must make more of an effort to share with you some of these truths as well.
Wow. In my defense, it was not so much running. I mean, it was, but your job as captain is to make sure that you are put. When you're a pirate or any seafaring folk, you'll always be in danger. But it is your job as captain to ensure that your crew is not at more risk than they would normally be for reasons that do not need to be explored. So when I said, let's not explore the boat, let's run off the boat, it was because I could tell that this was a situation we could not possibly be prepared for, and we were likely going to lose. We didn't lose, thankfully, but that's what was going through my head. But please, I would not want to go back and forth on who was in the wrong these past few nights. I am here to listen to what you said you had to say.
At that time, I was not in the mindset of we, a crew. I have had the responsibility to do this job alone for so long, to endanger others whose abilities I had not seen tested, one such being a young boy. It seemed to me that you had no obligation to follow. I know now better, of course, but let me backtrack. Do you know what Ashakmar means?
I don't believe I do.
He sort of traces, like he has to like force himself to remember first, and then he traces the A, and he goes, for, meaning belonging to. Mar, the sea. Common root word even between our two peoples. But shock is the word that there is no translation for in your language. The closest I can come is a connection, a substance. You see, we believe that there is something underneath what you might call the spirit, the soul. For us is something deeper. When you strip away all qualities, personality, interests, likes, dislikes, all of this, it is trappings. This is the spirit, but beneath there is the spark. This is the shock. This is what connects us all, and the sea, that is the vessel. When we die, those qualities The spirit, it is lifted away so that the shock can return to the sea and be distributed to the grand balance of the shock of all things. One small piece contains all shock. I am not sure if I can explain this. But for this reason, my death, or the death of any one Ashakmar, it is not a great tragedy traditionally. When I die, my spirit will be contained for a time in a shell made of pieces of Guardios and remainders of that shell from my teacher and theirs before and before and before. And that shell will be animated with me, a piece of the shock to which I belong, long enough to teach whoever will come after. There will always be more. There will always be one to carry out the will of Guardios. And so, to throw myself into battle, I do not fear death. Not really. At least I did not think I did. Selfishly, I must admit I have come to love so many things about this world that I, in our recent battles, have found when I have come so close to leaving this world behind, I did feel fear. And you brought me back from that. I am grateful in a way I do not quite know how to pay back. But those men on that ship,
He looks like he's gonna spit and cry at the same time. And he does start to well up a little bit, and he goes,
the shock is the purest thing in this life. It connects us all and it must be in balance. Those things that we fought, remnants left behind, it is the greatest tragedy that we can imagine. It to see the shock, what is left of them, aimlessly committing violence, bereft of personality that they once had, to allow them to continue to exist like this, not at peace, and not adding to the peace of us all. I have wept for those men. And I lay my head every night, knowing in my heart that I have failed. For the dead do not sleep. This is what it is to be a Shakmar.
does Calanthe have anything to say to that?
Calanthe's struggling because she's like, I don't want to break to you, bud, but undead are not uncommon.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh, no. I think Calanthe. She'll say, would it be a comfort to you to know that there are drylanders all over the world who train in putting the undead, as we like to call them, to rest? I'm sure Marius, with his clerical ability, can do it too. It's sort of something innate, because it's not, I understand it might be a shock to you, but it's not strange to me, and I guess I never considered that there would be people where this is not heard of.
This fact is loosely known to us, that there are undead. They manifest in different ways. The council, they believe that this is a reason for our lack of connection, that the Drylanders have allowed such things to exist without taking immediate action is a sign of your moral decay. I am not so sure. We all do things our own way, and I thought that I knew mine, and that it was only mine to keep. But I think that we are doing something right, that we have been chosen for. Together, we are bound together, salt and shore. With every drop that we bleed.
This is not normal. This is not normal. You're correct, but we will make it right. And it may not restore total balance, but I think that's a fight that will continue for all time. And you are doing your part and I am doing mine, but I would ask you not to take on the burden of it all, because you can't do it all yourself. And nor would I want you to. And I hope after this night you do not feel any grand feelings of owing me. Because to me, I was just doing what I was trained to do. I was born on a ship. I've lived my entire life on a ship. My mother is still, in her climbing age, one of the best, if not the best, pirate captains to have ever lived. And she trained me to be one myself. And it was my job to heal people and bring them back and make sure that we didn't lose any crew before it was their time, before their service was up, before they wanted to leave. So what I do, healing everyone, making sure everyone's okay, is almost casual in nature, but it's not apathetic. It is second nature. So while I do appreciate your honesty and the information you've shared with me, I hope you don't feel like I did some grand thing. Because to me, I didn't.
That is what I love about you Drylanders. Back home, to save a life, to protect your community, it is simply expected. It is our duty. But up here, you celebrate your heroes. You sing their songs, their dances, write stories, tell them to each other, pass them down to your children. I like this.
I was just going to stand up and sort of wipe away and pull him down next to me onto the waterbed and say, "Do you know why I like to take this room and why I'm so annoyed with you that you took it?"
Oh, I'm sorry. It was simply the one that Bene presented to me. I did not choose it myself.
It's because I can do this. And she'll start doing this with her hands. And the water inside the waterbed starts to move like you're floating in the ocean. Even you can tell you're not because it's not actually wet, but the motion of like when Qell was just floating in his little blood puddle, like it is exactly like that. And she does that for a little bit.
And as that's happening, he'll just ask, as we kind of fade away from this, will you teach me that song?
To sing it or on the fiddle? Because I think you'll struggle with the fiddle.
He like shows you his webbed hands, like, no.
Yeah, and then she'll begin to just to repeat it.
I think you guys do that until you both fall asleep. Awesome. So y'all sleep through the night. If anyone has dreams they'd like to share, feel free to. But I think as the morning dawns, you each get up and you know what you have to do for the day. How do we find each of you in the morning?
Early, eager,
Early.
ready to go, eating a fish.
Early bird gets the worm, as they say.
Indeed.
But the second mouse gets the cheese.
Yeah.
Benny's like, he had like a pretty good night of sleep. Like he's just kind of well rested and like ready to, get at the day.
Hell yes. Marius, feeling good, feeling ready?
Yes.
You taken on 3 of these things so far. You know the lay of the land, you got it.
Yeah, I'm feeling more confident than I previously. And now, especially that Marius feels like he really has gotten to know everybody. He's very comfortable. And so, yeah, he's up early and ready to go.
Awesome.
I think Calanthe will come down and she will be doing her braids because she doesn't want to. She knew that she was holding everyone up. So as like she's eating breakfast, she'll be doing them. So half of her head is just doing the thing. So when she like turns to talk to Marius, it's just like, and then when
That's awesome.
the moonlight or the sunlight hits it, when the sun is shining down on water and it looks really sparkly and glittery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it does that when the sunlight hits it, and she'll just super cash, and then you see her with the new eye patch.
Yeah, Benny definitely compliments. He goes, "That is a dope eye patch.
Isn't it so adorable? They hand stitched it themselves, and it's magical."
Oh,
It's fantastic.
Benny's like, I can't. I mean, I think you're a great captain. I will stay loyal to my captain, but I think you are the #1 captain on your ship.
Well, I am the #1 pirate captain on Maralone. She can be the #1 legal captain on Maralone.
There we go.
Yeah.
We love an asterisk.
Love an asterisk. So you guys have some breakfast and you eventually head out the door of Benny's house and make your way. You're gonna have to go. Benny lives kind of in the tourism district, kind of in the farming district, right? It's kind of like on the border. Yeah, so you have to kind of go around into the tourism district and then up the hill to the lighthouse. But as you leave your house, on your little lane that you have, there are like children there, like just some kids that are visitors on the island, and they see you guys and they just go like, and they run away.
That's so funny.
That's
not Benny's reaction.
They're not lotsmen, they're just kids, and they're like, good luck with whatever you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
Don't die.
Thank you.
We'll try not to, I guess.
They'll probably good, because if you do, I think we all die as well. Bye.
Very attentive children.
That
Yeah.
would make
Kids
Calanthe
always
laugh so hard.
I'm quite accustomed to that, but I do not like that last part.
Yeah.
That's
It's
new.
weird they say it out loud.
I mean, children have little to no filter, so I
say
like
the quiet
it.
part out loud. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You guys traipse up the side of the hill towards the lighthouse. And as you get there, you remember Celestina Yelgas, the Furbolg sawmill owner, had said that she went to the door and tried to open it and it was locked. However, before you even reach it, it swings open to allow you entrance.
Whoa.
Now, all
Didn't
of you
even need this.
didn't even need that. Didn't even need those keys.
Yeah.
All of you have been here before. I would say even Marius, I think you were probably brought up here in the past few days before the festival, just to kind of see the sights and all that. The lighthouse
As I was
keeper-
going around town.
Yeah, exactly. The lighthouse keeper, a Kenku man named Vast Scuttle. He's not an unfriendly guy. He's just a bit reclusive. He'll answer the door to whoever's knocking. And as you walk up to this now open door, you expect to see the stone flooring of the entrance hall with the black wrought iron staircase leading up in a circular motion towards the vast living quarters and the lantern room. However, you see no stone floor in front of you, just the wrought iron staircase at kind of a landing. And it leads up still, but there's another set of stairs that leads all the way down into darkness. And that's where we're going to take our break. And beware of what's below the shoreline. Bye.
Yo ho ho, we'll find